Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. The XRP price has been falling for the better part of the last 24 hours. Is it necessary to rush into a state of fear, or is something horribly wrong? So, what gives? Let me just say at the opening of the video that there is absolutely nothing horrifyingly wrong. Coincident with the market's general downward trend, driven by Bitcoin, XRP is also falling. And so, discover which of the top 10 cryptocurrencies has lost the most value recently. XRP has lost close to 8% of its value. I checked its 24-hour performance just now and discovered that it had dropped by more than 8.5%. However, Bitcoin fell by 4.39%. The idea is that these motions are occurring simultaneously. And if you've been keeping up with credible analysts in the crypto space, you might have noticed that many of them have been warning that, for the last 2 or 3 weeks or however long it's been, what looks most probable is that there will be a move to the downside for XRP specifically and in Bitcoin, but XRP specifically getting down to perhaps, depending on the analyst you're talking about, some would say maybe close to 30 cents, some would say maybe down $1, etc. You're essentially splitting hairs at that point. But the point is that the current trend is consistent with what many analysts had said was likely but not assured. At the time of this recording, we're still well short of the 30-something cent mark. Perhaps we won't, but that's still the widely held expectation. And so I'm sitting here thinking, if it drops a little bit lower, I might go on a little shopping spree for myself, because I enjoy it when things go on sale. But let me be clear before we go any further, I'm not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice. You should not treat yourself to anything just because I say so. I'm merely a hobbyist who likes to share his knowledge on crypto-related issues through YouTube videos. But only in one's spare time and for amusement. As of the time this video was recorded, XRP was trading at 42 cents, a drop of about 8% from the previous day. Also, I won't shock you by telling you that the value of one Bitcoin is currently $27,785.22, but I'll show you the 24 Bitcoin chart of our Bitcoin comparable graph, with major changes occurring around the same time. Bitcoin's 46.38% market share of the total crypto asset class market cap is something you see all the time and shouldn't find particularly concerning. Here we have the crypto pessimism/optimism index at 60%. However, there will be another update in roughly 1.5 hours. It will be interesting to watch how low it goes. However, I believe it is extremely likely that you will see that number decrease because of the significant downturn here. So, what's been the real catalyst here? Well, I'll tell you what people are saying is causing this, and then I'll tell you why I don't buy it and provide the Cointelegraph headline as evidence. Bitcoin's price dropped today. Why? Bitcoin is selling below $28,000 ahead of the opening of the New York Stock Exchange on May 8 as traders and market sentiment are frustrated by persistent congestion. Negative opinion against the largest cryptocurrency persists despite record high transaction costs and a nearly full mempool. So, there you have it, this is the explanation most people are giving for it. Nonetheless, I find it hard to believe. For the past few days, everyone has been aware of this issue. The timing for the price of Bitcoin falling down just doesn't add up, and I recorded a video about this very topic just yesterday. So, here is another instance of what I talk about when things like this happen. And I've been discussing it for nearly 5 years now. It's strange because when you talk to people who are buying and selling, they often make irrational decisions based on fear of missing out, FOMO, and panic selling. That's just the way people are. What I mean to convey is that, in the absence of news, individuals would act in this way regardless. When this happens, people often attribute it to whatever negative-sounding news is being reported at the time, regardless of whether or not the timing is reasonable. The internet is literally in our hands at all times now. All of us have access to cell phones at this point. Surely the vast majority of people do. No one in the audience cares about the certainty. So it's not as though information is lagging behind. There is no requirement for newsletters, newspapers, and other mail to be delivered via pigeon carriers or by horse. Rapidly occurring. When terrible, terrifying things occur, pay attention to whether or not they are the sort of thing that might trigger a decline. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that such things don't exist. Nevertheless, if they do occur, they occur rapidly. They occur quickly, not after the terrible news has been out for, say, 48 hours. This was certain to occur in any case. Once more, numerous analysts have been sounding the alarm that this very thing was imminent. From a technical standpoint, I must say that this makes me even happier to be an XRP holding. Just have a look at these graphs. This is why you can see the daily average Bitcoin transaction fee on charts.com and why it has been increasing over the past year. So even when it was lower, like on this date from last year, I'll just pick a low one, October 11th, the average transaction cost was still 63 cents. Let's contrast this with XRP. And there simply isn't any parallel. Not really, because XRP is such a tiny amount, I forget how many decimal places it has, but it's less than a penny. For all practical purposes, XRP value is equivalent to zero, making it effectively free. But as you can see, it started at 63 cents and now it's $1.33 at the end of October. At that point, Bitcoin's value had already increased by more than 100%. However, the most recent data we have is from yesterday, May 7th, and it shows that the average Bitcoin transaction cost is currently $19.21. Costs $9 now instead of $8. From $2.13 a year ago and yesterday. This represents an increase of 117.3% from yesterday and a rise of 799.8% from this time last year. Definitely not something you want. While I do own Bitcoin, I'm not blind to the fact that its underlying technology has significant flaws. Okay, that's super fantastic if the second layer is going to swoop in and save the day. Also, before that, since I still think Bitcoin has potential. I've had it since the beginning of 2017. But I'm going to approach this with a dose of realism. And now I know that there isn't another option. However, I don't really express this sentiment very often. However, as XRP holders, it seems we are treated like royalty. You've all transferred XRP before, so you know how fantastic it is when a transaction gets settled instantly after being sent and cannot be reversed in any way. I don't understand why things can't be that simple. It is what it is though. Again, for those of you looking, you can see that he is talking about somebody's specific range here. For example, the blockchain backer. I don't want to read this whole thread, but you know, he was sharing this as a tweet from his on April 30 based on Bitcoin here. You're taking another stab into the box. It states that a price move above $30,500 or a break above $30,200 would indicate a change in direction. If not, we're back where we started. So, he was pointing out that we may expect a decline of this sort and that the odds were quite high. I've heard him say this before, and he seems to think there might be another drop coming soon. And he added that the price of XRP is dropping to the point where he would be interested in buying more of it. A few hours later, he uploaded this and added some text to make the chart full screen. He claimed that Bitcoin was attempting to solve the problem. These typically smash through the support structure. Keep an eye out because this is where the fake-outs occur. Should bottom formers be given more time to examine their options, they should keep a watchful check on the market to detect any phony moves. But I'll tell you this, if we do see the market drop generally, I might even buy more if the price drops enough for me to consider it. The truth is that I actually was one of those people. I was content with the state of my cryptocurrency portfolio. When 2020 was winding down, I was thinking, yeah, I'm good to go for this off-season thing, let's just kick this off. Then the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit happened. It was promised to us in early 2018, but we didn't receive it until early 2019. And it's not like 21 was a complete wash. It's no surprise that coins of all types went crazy. True, Bitcoin did reach a new record high. But in any case, the important thing is that I was prepared. Therefore, I have been prepared for years at this moment. But considering that I have already invested heavily in cryptocurrencies, that's why I was brought up to be prepared to defend my assets. However, in the end, we were unable to succeed with XRP. Until we break through a new all-time high, I have no intention of selling. And that's where I've got my biggest cryptocurrency investment right now. Since then, I have done some shopping and even made a few major purchases. Although I've been prepared for the 2020 damages, I haven't been routinely dollar cost averaging in. That's when, this is pretty much always the case ever since. And I've revealed this because I have no problem being open and honest about how and why I shop. So now you know that I buy items when everyone else is scared and the market is tanking. For me, that's always been the case. Therefore, I made the largest individual cryptocurrency purchases I've ever done. People were frightened following the FTX class in November of last year. Wow, I thought, this is quite nice. I thought, I don't know if we're going to lower, but if we do, we've got even more money sitting on the sidelines. The question then arises, why not reinvest the money over the past few years? And here's my response. Well, I do have a lot sitting on the sidelines at the moment, but I can only have so much cash on hand. However, my income keeps rising. I have a positive net income. After some time has passed and the price of cryptocurrency drops to a level that is frightening to most people, I begin to accumulate some. But I wanted to double check that you are aware of something. First, why didn't you invest more money 2 years ago? Because I too wish to maintain a minimum balance in the bank account. As prices fall in the aftermath of a major disaster, I could be tempted to buy. Therefore, there have been several instances. I've never actually said anything like this before, and that's why I figured I'd just share. But, we've reached a stage where I don't need a very large multiplier effect because, I've acquired so much more than I ever expected before ever cashing out into United States dollars. Looking at everything I've accumulated in crypto over the past half-decade, I don't need a huge multiplier, just a little one. That's the end goal I'm aiming for, and once I reach it, I'll be set for the rest of my life. Maybe everything breaks apart and something terrible happens, but I couldn't be more thrilled about this. In any case, that's how I'm dealing with it. And everyone has their own method. I'm rambling on for no particular reason. I thought you would enjoy hearing my thoughts on this, because I do. But I, too, find myself in that predicament. If things get bad enough, I'll be like, okay, you've convinced me, everyone's panicked enough. Sure, I will buy your fear and buy all your crypto at a bargain. But there would have to be substantial savings for me to even consider it. Of course, I know there are people in the audience have more crypto than I do, but when I declare that I want to be done with my life, I recognize that others may have different priorities. Many of those tuning in aren't trying to crypto anything particularly important. There are plenty of crypto enthusiasts whose sides are set higher than the average, and that's totally fine. It's not a problem if you say so. I'm 39 years old and simply looking at this position, but I should note that when I say this, I also consider the rest of my net worth and everything else to make sure I'm where I want to be. I feel like I can wrap this up quickly, man. As for the blockchain supporter, he made some remarks after the next bottom out here, wherever Kit goes for XRP, and he didn't claim anything was certain because that's not how he speaks. Sate is around 37 cents. Since this is how things work, he believes there is a significant probability that this will prompt him to switch back to a bullish stance while everyone else is freaking out. But he's going to start acting boldly once more. The real breakthrough occurs after that. So, yeah, it was cool to see XRP at 58 cents, but he kept saying, yeah, well, we're kind of hit a wall here the whole time we were there. Others in the industry were also of the opinion that it had dropped. This occurred to me out of the blue. What you see on the screen right now was a topic of discussion. However, there are other analysts expressing things that were somewhat similar to that, and I just wanted to let you know that they all deserve credit for the excellent work that they did. And he failed to observe, alright, well, maybe CBCC may drop a bit. Now, the question is, what happens next? In fact, he has stated as recently as today that a last positive moonshot seems to be the most likely outcome. And that should be exciting. Now, hear this, chart experts have a newfound appreciation for Bitcoin. And he wrote about XRP, or approximately 37 to 40 cents, or roughly my next levels of swing trade interest on XRP, as projected market-wide weakening. Leave your comfort zone. And we have quickly returned to the dreaded 30-cent mark. Then, maybe we do arrive. And I'm not trying to fool you. I have no interest in passing myself off as Charles, and I have no desire to do so. To me, this isn't something dreadful and scary, but if we reach to those levels, my gosh, can you imagine what it would probably imply for Bitcoin and everything else in crypto? It's the norm for the cryptocurrency market. That's why I can relax at night. I have so much XRP that I could care less if the price fluctuates by a cent because I have so much of it. The truth is, I couldn't care less. From my perspective, which is not based on technical analysis, I am simply experiencing this because we have been ranged. On a more abstract level, though, we have been stuck in a rut ever since we reached our all-time high 50 years ago. After then, everything that happened was basically like, well, XRP dropped to 10 or 11 cents, then rebounded to $2, and then dropped again. And in the end, it won't matter one way or the other because XRP will either be worth nothing or an insane amount of money. And you already know who I'm siding with. When crypto's L capital returns is also something to keep an eye on. In May of last year, he received several points because he predicted an extremely high Bitcoin price. At the time, the thought of Bitcoin dropping to $20,000 seemed awful. Also, I'd put it somewhere around 30,000. I'd have to double-check the data in the chart then. But in any case, the main thing is that he was correct. And he was right when it came to a minority opinion. The Terra Luna event, which, as you know, then set off Voyager and Celsius and all that stuff we went through last year, that's what set it off, and he was right because of that. Got all the credit, but I pointed out at the time that, while he was technically right, he wasn't factoring in a wildcard event that would cause collapse. After giving it some thought, I decided it was time to give some credit where credit was due. I'm pretty sure I said that, but asterisk there, he didn't see this coming. This is something he did not foresee. He needed just to strike out into unknown terrain earlier this year. Whatever you're saying, he predicted that Bitcoin would drop to $12,000. And as we keep turning things around for the better, he kept saying that, but then he just kind of disappeared. In 2022, he gained a massive following of 755,000 people by expressing some very naked things. After that, he was just ghosted. Just like nothing, he said. Still short and strong, he wrote in a tweet posted from January of this year. I'll say credit words do if we drop to $12,000 without a wildcard event, but I just don't buy it. According to my analysis, we hit rock bottom in November of last year. To be continued. Although I'm close to making the additional buy, I can't help but think whether I shouldn't push myself a little farther. But if I do, I'm happy to discuss it further. Again, the only reason I'm not dollar cost averaging is that by 2020 I'll have reached an emotional point where I feel like I've accumulated enough. You know, during the first few years that I was invested in crypto, I merely used dollar cost averaging to buy a little bit every few days without giving much thought to the price. In addition, I'm no longer putting as much effort into trying to predict market movements. To put it simply, I'm finished. Let's go. I invested sufficiently. Now that I'm working and living my life, I have more disposable income, and when things like this occur, I think, okay, I'm already ready, but I guess I'll throw more money into it. So now, after 3 years or so in crypto, I have a slightly different perspective. But, you know, it'll just be that much more ludicrous stuff because I do think that this asset class, oh my god, look at a small dish right now. In the future, I expect individual coins to have market values in the multi-trillion-dollar range, bringing the total market value of the asset class to around $1.16 trillion. At its height, Bitcoin's value had reached about $1.2 or $1.3 trillion. XRP should be able to accomplish this, in my opinion. Down the road. Why couldn't XRP have a market valuation of several trillion dollars? Its value may grow substantially in the coming years. There are no assurances, and the risk is always present. However, I don't find that to be completely insane. So I'm going to wait it out for a while longer. Anyway, if anyone is worried out there, I can't advise them on whether they should purchase or sell. Only after being a part of this industry for well over 5 years can I confidently make that claim. I can see that. In fact, I've never been more energized. If anything, a drop in pricing will present an opportunity. Yes, I anticipate making a purchase here. So long as I expect to keep making money, that's where it needs to go. There must be a place for it. I have always been a frugal person, both professionally and personally, and I enjoy making a good living doing so. Because I always have a surplus of funds over expenditures, I have to find a use for them. That's why there are times when I say things like, okay, well, let's go put it in a crypto wherever that else, but we'll see. I dunno, man, what exactly am I supposed to be checking out that you've got? Since I'm just going to keep refilling my numerous bags, I suppose. That might be what I usually do. Simply put, I need to put my financial resources to good use. Could be the key there. I need some more time to consider this. As a result, costs will decrease. I'd like to continue this discussion tomorrow, but for now I'll wrap up. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say should influence your buying or selling decisions. Please like and subscribe as always. See you in the next video. Bye.